I thought it would be a little bit fun for us to take a look back and let's take a gander at who was the most broken character in Street Fighter V's history. Because as we mentioned with this new direction with Season 5, this game has come a long way. We're 5 seasons in of fresh DLC characters and different balance patches and mid-season patches and small fixes here and there. And the game has gone through a lot. And, some people might be new fans to the series, new fans to the competitive realm, or might have been around from the beginning. We can look back and see, who was the most broken character. So, Rob, I want to hear maybe some honorable mentions, and then I want to hear your number one pick so I can tell you why you're wrong.
Okay. All right, Brian. You're supposed to be my boy, you're supposed to be my brother from another. But in this case, you're making me relive some trauma right now as I bring up my honorable mention, Season 2 Laura. That character was actually complete BS. Made no sense whatsoever. If you think Adam is doing something now, imagine if he had Season 2 Laura with his current skill level. I would hate to see it. I mean, of course, the feature wouldn't last as long, but, regardless, the stand medium kick, if I remember correctly, was 5 frames. I remember I was so annoyed just seeing people just mash on that in neutral. We don't even really see that button as much anymore. Stand medium kick is ridiculous. Also, the main thing I would say was that after a throw, Laura, if you weren't around, you might not know, bro. Laura could do a throw and then just do elbow auto time. So she do light elbow and it was +1 guaranteed. So you just got thrown by Laura and then she gets Oki off of it. You have to guess. That made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And from a command grab character, and this is all non-V-trigger stuff. The medium kick, the meaty elbow.
Meterless.
So even if you meterless, that's a great point. And even if you survive all that, then she also has one of the best V-triggers in the game. Completely ridiculous. Easy top spot for my honorable mention.
Yeah, I mean, you're also bringing up some repressed memories of that one too. I kind of forgot about that for a while because whenever I saw that medium kick, I mean, I think it was one of those New York tournaments where Idom first got a win over Punk in Season 2.
I know what you're talking about. He did it like 60 times.
He did 5 medium kicks in a row, and that is it's -2 on block, but the thing went full screen, meaning you had to calculate it in an instant. Am I in range to press my jab to check him, or am I out of range where my jab whiffs and another medium kick's gonna pop me in the face? So Idom would just press, and I swear my blood pressure would raise every single time one of those medium kicks came out. I'm happy that move is gone. And the autopilot elbow, just to make sure it's clear people understand, there's no V shift back then. There's only V reversal.
That's a good point.
V reversals were a little bit better back then, but you're forced to burn V meter, and if every turn she gets, she can be plus. That means she can get fake turns much more easy because in a split second, can you tell if that's an elbow or a dash? And if you guess wrong on that elbow, you're going to get counter hit to another knockdown into the same situation over and over. So yeah, great pick. That was a rough time.
What's on? Yeah, I have no. I wonder what direction you can go with the honorable pick. I mean, the honorable mention.
I can't do him for my most broken, most overpowered in Street Fighter history, but I got to give an honorable mention to my guy, Season 2 Balrog. I got to.
Beautiful.
I got to admit
Beautiful
it.
Choice.
I got to admit it. That character in Season 2, I mean, I saw the pages and pages of buffs. I was reading the patch notes from Season 1 to Season 2, and I was like, are you sure about this? Are you pulling my leg? Because it was legitimately like 2.5 pages of buffs to Balrog. And people don't realize how bad Season 1 Balrog was, how he came out late in the season. He was going to be so irrelevant if he stayed at that strength, because a few months later, Season 2 blew him out of the water in terms of strength. I mean, that tap, first of all, you could spend hours talking about how busted that was.
Oh my goodness, it was plus.
It did everything. It was anti-air, it was anti-throw, it was a reversal, it was plus on block, it was an anti-throw, it was a frame trap. It did everything. The longer you charged it, the more broken it got. So that needed to go. Good job nerfing that. But it wasn't just that. They changed his upper from a charge move to a motion move, which gave him brand new combos. So back then, crush counters did not scale. So he had that crush counter standing heavy kick with more range. Its range got nerfed. It had way more range, and you could walk up crouching fierce punch to an upper. So he was already hitting the hardest in the game from just a random crush counter. And then he had throw loops in the corner on top of that. I mean, a lot of characters in Season 2 had throw loops. But for him to have all those utility, like the tap, which he can just throw out, avoid stuff, and be plus if he charged it for a few seconds. Crush counters, which did 1 million damage to make you scared to block. Then if he threw you, he can loop the throw or just dash up heavy kick and then do half your life. Yeah, he was a problem. He was for sure. I don't think he was the most overpowered, but I got to give an honorable mention because, he's close to my heart. So I have a soft spot for Season 2 Rog.
Who do you think is the most overpowered? Not honorable mention, but the actual most overpowered Street Fighter V character.
I think the most overpowered character, and I think people's memory is a little too, it's too short to remember. I think our Mika Season 1, easily the most broken character I have seen in a fighting game for a long time. I think a lot of people like to talk about some other characters from other series being broken in the first iterations. No, I don't think anyone understands how messed up this character was. If you look back to Season 1, there was a lot of nonsense because the game was fresh and they're still working out the kinks. You know what I'm saying? Like there were still some design issues to kind of work out. But Chun-Li would be the one that a lot of people would bring up as being the best character at that time because everybody was playing Chun-Li. She was good. She was definitely good. Don't get me wrong. But our Mika was just an affront to all things I consider holy. This character was a grappler, which had no issues getting in, repeating all her plus frames, her defensive option, her V reversal. If you ever got a chance to play, it puts you in a situation where she could get in immediately again to make you guess. So you're finally getting to play the neutral. In the neutral, if she ever just V reversals you for trying to use your buttons to poke her, which is what you should do because she's a grappler, her neutral is weak, she'd V reversal, get in, and make you guess immediately again. Her crouching fierce punch was plus. Her crouching fierce punch, which she rolled on the ground to cover a huge amount of space. And when she got a hit, she used to have the resets everywhere on screen because the previous version of the, I don't know what you would want to call it, the clap, where she would grab you, swing you around, throw you against the wall. She had an invisible wall anywhere on screen, which allowed her to do resets, high damage combos. That was a huge nerf, but people don't understand. You only see those kind of resets now where they do like the medium punch after into the left, right. That's only in the corner. You could do that anywhere. It was free reign. You got to mix anywhere. So it was huge damage, huge mix-ups, pressure from anything. It was just a nightmare. On top of that, we had some more input delay, so it's a bit more chaotic to check some dashes. And I just think our Mika was the character that made you want to rip your hair out the most.
Brian, you bring up a compelling argument. And I commend you for how well put together that was. It was eloquent and it was mostly factual until you got to that last sentence. And you said that our Mika was the most broken character in Street Fighter history. Or Street Fighter 5 history. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I am from the Midwest. And I sat there and I swallowed my pride to cheer on a brother of mine that's also from the Midwest. Watching him go against Titans that built the scene with their bare hands. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about my boy Cool Kid 93. And the reason I bring him up in this situation is because to me, people will disagree, some will. I give him credit for creating Abigail. I feel like he made most of the tech early on and stuff like that, and then people caught on and started copying and whatnot, which is nothing wrong with that. That's just my opinion. With that being the case, Season 3 Abigail is the most broken character in Street Fighter V's history and one of the most broken characters in fighting game history. Gotta be. No way that he's not. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the unblockables during that time, the setups. You guaranteed are going to be closing out rounds a lot of spots. There was no V-shift at this time, mind you. There was no V-shift. The damage that he did. Mind you, his EX, like his command grab, the range on it was much better back then. You got characters like him and G command grabbing you into a combo. I don't know why.
Because it's badass.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is kind of some gangster stuff or something, but it is perplexing its existence, right? And only Abigail out of all of the characters did we see people pick up Abigail damn near overnight. Travel across planet Earth on a plane to compete in tournaments where they're putting their money on the line. And these are pro players, and they would pick Abigail instead of the character they picked for years. They play Abigail for 2 weeks and pick him at a premiere and make top 16. I remember that. Not
Problem
BS.
X, Storm Kubo. I was in their path. I ran into that Storm Kubo man, and Problem X was doing work. Yeah, it was a rough time. That's also before 3.5, I believe, is when the crush counter scaling was added. So 3.0 Abigail was all that in a bag of chips because, man, that crush counter, whoa, full screen, no hurt box. Remember, the hurt boxes were added in season 5 or 4, I believe. So that's a new addition to be able to whip punish.
Yeah,
that's a new addition. So imagine swinging with that all day. The jabs had no hurt box either, so we could anti-air free. If that crush counter landed at its unscaled damage, you were getting cooked. It was. You have a good point here with maybe Abigail
bro. I never seen people just pick up a character like so many people pick up a character. Like I think Abigail had the potential to hurt the game. Like I think Abigail really was so ridiculous. He could have hurt the integrity and the playability of the game. Like that's the one character I can say that about Street Fighter 5, bro.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it's interesting to look back because we've all learned a lot of lessons, the developers included. We've learned how to deal with some top tier characters and overcome those challenges. And it's cool to look back because I feel like this version of the game is one of the most balanced it's been in a long time. So if you're complaining now, there's
no trash characters, bro.
It's good to have perspective. It's good to have perspective to look back of how things have been.